Andrew Doyle.
Thank you, Ceann Corla. I just welcome an opportunity to speak on this bill. I think it's important. I think it follows on from the work that was started following the McCarthy report to look at efficiencies in the way in which we have our national agencies and authorities, and otherwise known as quangos, configured to merge the NRA, or the RPA rather, at the NRA and the RPA together into what is essentially a new National Roads Authority, which can be called a Transport Infrastructure Service, does make sense. Just looking at some of the figures, a projected saving of at least $3 million annually, presumably mainly from administration, is a significant figure, given that it seems that the 2010 annual budget for administration for both agencies separately was of the order of $25 million. So I think $3 million of a minimum is a significant saving in that regard. More importantly, though, I think the ability of an enlarged authority to be a significant player in the public-private partnership market is one of greater relevance. Because in-house there's a collective expertise in the whole area of transport, public transport, and provision of transport for road users, means that with an improving economy, and we've seen this with the N11 Newlands Cross bundle, where it was possible after many years of trying, and I'd like to commend the NRA for sticking with it, to secure funding for public-private partnership work, which is on schedule in both cases, as far as I'm aware, and progressing. And two vital pieces of national infrastructure, and Deputy Brown and I both share an interest, I'm sure, in the one on the East Coast, the N11. Just with regard to the additional functions, I might just ask a question for clarification. Additional functions of the NRA amendments to the Road Act 1993. It says this section looks at the conferral of additional functions on the NRA by the Minister, and that amendments to the Roads Act 1993. Specifically, it looks at the NRA to specify standards, bylaws in relation to road maintenance, grants to the authority, court proceedings for unpaid tolls, and accountability of the Chief Executive. Now, it also goes on about bylaws and specific functions that are conferred, but in this case it says that they are looked at. And maybe the Minister would clarify whether or not that will be done, will be the gift of the Minister by way of statutory instrument or not. I'm not sure. Deputy Harrington mentioned about the Wild Atlantic Way, and I think it is very valid. One of the things that comes up from time to time is, and we see, an enhanced potential with the likes of the Greenway in the west of Ireland and Mayo, where we see disused or removed railway track lines, which are ideal for walking and cycling for tourists and leisure, and they are becoming much more important, and much more people are becoming very much in favour of using them. We have a case where we have instances where old railway lines are no longer in use, and what was Irish Rail more or less just handed over the property to whoever was the adjacent landowner. The railways are gone, and specifically I'm talking about from one example, which is from the Wooden Bridge to Coolatin Estate, where the Earl of Wicklow's were based. And it is intended that a walk-cycle path could be put in place from Arklow to Coolatin, and we have the Tom Nafwin Oakwood. We've a lot of walkways and that already in existence on one end of it. But there is an issue with regard to ownership. And if it is, and while I accept that the NRA, the new agency, won't have, while the property is being transferred, this is no longer a part of the property because they've given it away. Is there potential for the new agency to, in the better interest, the greater interest, to look at acquiring that by CPO again, that land that they actually just ceded? In many cases not used, but it's there and it's on a register, and for various different reasons people are hesitant to give it back or to allow a way leave on it. And I think it's something that should be looked at, because there's a significant potential here that in the case that I've referred to, which is actually held up. Finally, just one final point. I'd ask that the new agency. My first speech in the Dáil was on a piece of roads legislation, so I was told to go parochial. I'd ask that the new agency would look at the N81 on the western side of our county. It has been the one that has been neglected. It is a busy route, not as busy as the N11 or many others, admittedly, but there are many parts of it which are way below standard for a national primary route. Thank you.